Greetings. Chris Raptus Real Estate, episode 59, and welcome to the third day before Melbourne Cup Day, and wishing everyone a fantastic result tomorrow out of the 24 horses. Who knows, it's anyone's pick. My pick is number 3, so good luck. If you're watching the video last week, we're talking about being Australian and nothing more than listening to the rain this morning, pitter patter on the galvanized iron on the roof of my property. So a couple of things I want to talk about: like, retweet, reshare, follow. It helps with the algorithm, so they say. And so do that kind of stuff. None of this is financial advice. Do your own research, you know the drill. A couple of things I want to touch on. We'll talk about the marketplace. We'll get a little bit of the gossip out of the way. First things first is, RESA awards. Funny shit, right? Half of them are broke. The other half rent their own home, And I've never had an accolade. I've never had an award. Don't need one. The only 2 awards, in my opinion, is a set of scales and your BAS statement. Right? So they're the 2 metrics that I measure my success on what I'm putting into my body from a healthy point of view, and what my BAS statements are saying at the end of the quarter. They are the only 2 metrics. Everything else is crap. Everything else is noise. A lot of these people are yes men. I am not. And it's a really good segue into the next part of the video. And, I'd have a lot more business if I just didn't tell the truth all the time. But, this is what I do. This is why I give you information. This is why my competitors are watching these videos. This is why I give articles out for free on the Raptus Real Estate Facebook page. Some interesting articles there. Have a look at them. They're quite entertaining. They have a bit of emojis. They're short, sharp, concise, unlike some of my videos. But I've got a lot to say, and I think that in Australia, we're very opinionated, absolutely, and the world too. But I'm the guy that has the restaurant that I can see when someone just wants to complain or they want a free meal. I can pick them because I've been in the property game for 20 years, and I'm the guy that turns around and says, look, there was nothing wrong with the food. Thank you very much. The door's that way. Really appreciate you coming along, but no, you're not getting a refund. And then what tends to happen, people on the internet warriors, they get on the internet, trolling and send this bad review, and Chris is a bad real estate agent, bad company, and this, that, the other, and they get on the keyboard and it really, gives them satisfaction, right? And those people can take a long walk on a short jetty. And then what they do is they go down to my competitor, they pay double the price, and they get less the quality. And you know what? They love to get ripped off, and that's just how it is. So, if you sit there and defend yourself and defend your position, you get respect. You don't want to be a yes man. What tends to happen is when you complain to a yes man, they say, yes, we're very, very sorry. We'll just fix that up right now. They will do a hot tour and then literally say, here you are, madame. Here you are, sir. Really sorry about that. And that's not my style, because these are the people that will rub your belly and knife you in the back. And that is not how I do business. Now, I am not Woolworths. I'm not Coles. I don't pretend to be. I'm the delicatessen on the corner giving gourmet food. I'm the guy that wakes up early in the morning, prepares the food, and delivers the paninis to the clients. And if they don't like those paninis, they can go down the road and they can try my competitor that's been frozen, that takes the meat out and freezes it and then unfreezes it and puts it straight onto the frying pan. That's not me. I'm not going to be like that. I never will be like that, and I will never change. That being said, real estate is a long-term game. You can't look at your property on a metric every day like the stock market and follow EMAs, right? The 100, the 200 moving average. You can't do that with property. It's a long-term game. So what I'm seeing at the moment is a little bit of the market coming off the boil just slightly, as the buyers have not got FOMO yet. So I'm finding I had a couple of offers over the weekend. Numbers came off the boil a little bit on the open inspections, and there's still a little bit of a discount rate at the moment where I'll be honest, I'm struggling to get that discount rate and meet the gap and bridge the gap between vendors' expectations and buyers and what they want to pay. And the reason that I feel that, a lot of this is happening is that the FOMO hasn't kicked in yet. There's talk about interest rate rises. Things are continuously going up, like utilities, groceries, etc. So until the FOMO kicks in and the interest rates drop, hopefully we get a drop before Christmas. It's very unlikely that we will get a drop this week. The RBA does not like to drop the rates during the Melbourne Cup final. I've noticed that over the many years that we just don't really get a rate drop. So for whatever reason, my line is very simple, and that I think that properties are going to go up. And then I've explained that to the buyers. I said, look, if you're not prepared to pay, I get it. I understand. It's your decision, as it is the owner's decision, whether they accept your offer or not. But I believe in my heart, you will be paying more for your property next month and the month after when the rates drop. So, let's spitball some facts. I think $910,000 for the average home price in Adelaide, South Australia. That's remarkable, right? Just remarkable price. We've had our average rent hit about $650 a week, 0.08 vacancy rate for rent. Days on market about 30 days. So, properties are selling in under a month. We've had very high clearance rates around that mid 77% rate. So the market is still very good. I've noticed probably a little bit of the top end stuff is sort of sitting there a little bit more, and I have said that quite openly, but good properties that are priced right in this market will sell. They'll sell quickly and for a good price. So it just also comes down to the motivation of the sellers and how motivated you are and why you're selling. Why are you selling? Are you relocating? Are you upsizing? Did you buy a property, do really well on that purchase, and now you're selling and you're happy to let it go for fair market value? There's always factors involved with every sale price, and there's stories involved with every sale. Every client is different. Every property is different. So let's summarize, not being a hop tour, not being a yes person. People are so used to getting their way in life, and you're just going to get those naysayers, whingers that, are keyboard warriors, and they're going to get on and they're going to do a bad review, and then they're the ones that are going to go down the road, get ripped off and get less quality. So don't be that person, do not be that person. Yes, stand up for yourself, but don't compromise when you've got something that's good in front of you, right? And it's the same with a property. If you really like that property, pay that little bit extra, and don't avoid disappointment, because there always is someone else out there that may just be prepared to pay more than what you're willing to pay. And that's fair. It's a free market. That being said, had a lot of people come to me over the last week or two, especially landlords not happy with their property managers. You've seen the rent increase. The yield's about 5.8%. It's up with houses about 9% for units as well. So you're seeing the rent increasing, and we've had 7 consecutive months of growth in the Adelaide real estate market. So things are still good. We're going to have the flywheel effect. People are talking doom and gloom next year. They always seem to do that. We have a lot of relocations in January. We also have a lot of divorces in January because families just don't like to spend time with each other during the Christmas period. So, it is an opportunity for some. I believe there will be more homes that will come on the market next year because of that reason. Also, we're having a lot of interstate relocations, people getting their job transfers and that. So, we're in for an interesting time. Christmas is just around the corner. We had Halloween. Hopefully the sun comes out. People are happier again when the sun's out, and people are out there spending money, which is good for small businesses. So if you've watched my videos over the last couple of months, you'll know I talk the truth. You will get good information from me from my websites. You're not going to get bullshit come out of my mouth. I'm a no frills agent. I'm a business owner. I'm not a yes man. I don't sit there and please everyone. My clients get the best advice that I believe I can give them because I'm not broke, and I don't try and get an award every year by knifing my clients in the back and telling them what they want to hear, because that's the age-old thing with real estate agents. They over-appraise properties. I've seen it before. I've had other agents appraise my property, and they will give you an inflated price to get your business, and then when the offers come in, it's crunch time, and that's never really been my style. And sure, I would sell a hell of a lot more homes, but it's like, if you're an artist and you believe in a particular type of genre and you like that genre and you're doing what you enjoy, to me, I would rather do that than do commercial music that just people want to hear just so you can become famous and sell lots of records. Sure, if that's what you want to do and that's your provocative, cool. Everyone's different. As I said, it's a free market, but at the end of the day, if I'm going to like a particular type of genre, it could be rock and roll, could be trance, it could be hip hop, it could be whatever, right? R&B. If I have a particular type of feeling, I'm going to go with that feeling, because at the end of the day, as I've said to you, you only get a certain amount of summers, winters, springs in this world. Can't take the money with you, but what you can do is try and live your life to the best of your ability. Anyway, that on life experience, I've got some commercial properties, that I've got for rent, starting from $30,000 a year on Port Road. Also got a sale on Port Road for $6 million. It's 2,500 square meters. There's up to a 10-story development potential there at the moment. It's currently zoned for a 3-story development. So for those that do have long-term and vision, that want to park their money into a property that's got holding income of over $250,000 with the potential to make $500,000 of income on just one property, DM me. Happy to give those details to you. We've got plans approved there for 26 properties. So yeah, it's interesting times. We've got a few auctions coming up in Blakeview, 121 Main Terrace. That's on the 29th of November. At 12 o'clock. Brett Reinfeld's my auctioneer, does a brilliant job for all those agents that are watching my videos. Use Brett, he's brilliant. He's the most awarded, auctioneer in Adelaide, ex-president of the Real Estate Institute, and really proud to have him as my auctioneer. I don't pretend to be all things to all people. I don't like to auction the properties myself. I believe that I'm better utilized to my clients, dealing with the buyers and assisting Brett at my auctions. So again, we still have that promotion going on for anyone that sells a property over $1 million, and they get a free thermo mix. So if you want to be in that draw, and I know I've got a lot of clients that are going to come up on the market with me over the next couple of months. They're just getting their properties ready. We're potentially seeing a delayed spring here, where the market is still firm, people are still transacting. And as I've said to another client that called me in last week, or potential client, should I say, and she said something about timing, and they're going to need some time. And I said, look, I've sold properties on New Year's Day. I was presenting offers at 9 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, and didn't stop those negotiations till about 6 o'clock at night last night. I'm back up at 5 o'clock the next day, and you want a good agent that works hard for you. There's no days off. There's no franchise fees where I am. I'll work 10 times harder than my competition. I was always the first one in, last one out. And I even had in the early days, funny, this is the funniest thing. I would work so hard. It was just so funny that I had a boss, and he just couldn't believe that I would be the first one in, last one out. There just had to be something going on there, and that's why I run my business today, is because I've done the hard yards. I've worked for the big brands. I know how the conglomerates work, and now I work for myself. I've got my own brand. I've got my name on the boards, my name outside, and it just comes with timing and experience. So if you want, the advice from someone of a McDonald's checkout, or you want an experienced veteran that's been battle hardened like myself, that's seen the peaks and the troughs, from 2008 to 2012, they were tough times. The liquidity just wasn't there in the market. They were hard selling times, and things certainly have changed now. And, for those that have been lucky enough to weather the storm, I respect those agents. It's not about how many houses you sell. That's cocktail talk. It's about how much profit you make. And there's no award in the Real Estate Institute for how much an agency makes in profit. That being said, I'm going to leave that one up to your imagination. Go out there, have a great week. It's Monday. Let's see what happens at the races tomorrow. Hope everyone has a safe week and look forward to the next video. Take care. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.